Hi, I'm Patrick, and this is the Mach-E vlog. Today we're here with Ford Pro, Julie Ellenberger. I knew I was going to mess that up. At ACT Expo, we're going to talk about what Ford Pro is doing with the F-150 Lightning Pro, as well as the E-Transit. So let's go. So a lot of times we go to like auto shows and those type of things, and we'll see like the F-150 Lightning, we see the Mach-E, but at ACT Expo, it's the Advanced Clean Transportation Expo. It's focused on fleets, businesses, and whatever. So that's why Ford Pro is here. It's a different side of the business. So I'm excited to learn more about like, the Lightning is such a cool vehicle, but we all know the Pro is such a great bargain, but it's like, it's being used in a lot of different uses.
Yeah, absolutely. So within Ford Pro, we cover all needs of all different types of commercial customers, from businesses, small business, large fleets, cities, municipalities, all of the above. And so really excited about the momentum we're gaining on Lightning and Lightning Pro in particular, which is our low-end trim series entry into the Lightning family. And so what we're seeing out there in terms of early adopters and people having success, like you mentioned, state and local governments are actually some of our earliest adopters, having tons of success. With a lot of the infrastructure concerns still, they are the perfect type of customer because they're operating in a campus or in a defined route.
They're operating within a city or
correct. Exactly. Utilities, obvious choice for early adopters on the EV front. Small construction businesses, electricians, plumbers, all of these small businesses, you might think they're a little more risk averse, but these vehicles really work for them. And they're seeing the total cost of ownership benefits, not having to pay fuel costs that can be crazy expensive for a small business.
And I imagine this is like one of the great things with Ford Pro is you have the data that backs up all of that. So they don't have to like start from scratch and do the calculations in their own spreadsheet.
Exactly.
You have the proof that shows how much of a cost benefit this is.
Exactly. And so Ford Pro is all about the all-in solution, no matter what size customer you are, right? So we have the charging solutions, the software, fleet management, help you manage kind of where your vehicles are throughout the day, uptime, productivity. We also have our commercial vehicle center dealer network. So any Ford dealer of our 3,000 across the country can service these. But we also have special commercial dealers who are organized around supporting businesses of all sizes.
Okay, I didn't know we were going in this direction, but now I'm thinking about it. Like, so it's like you're not buying a Lightning. You sort of, although you can just buy a Lightning. As a small business owner, it's like you're buying into this potential of EV charging knowledge, fleet data knowledge, tracking, like all of that. So it's like comprehensive. That sounds really cool.
And like you said, it's a bargain. These trucks are phenomenal value right now. And then on the commercial side, these also qualify for the commercial clean energy tax credit.
Yeah, I'm less familiar with the commercial side, but that's really cool.
45W is the commercial side, and all three of our EVs actually qualify for that $7,500. So
that's awesome.
So on top of that, and other state and local incentives that are available only to commercial customers, I mean, the savings can really add up. So, and a lot of our customers as well on the commercial side are now in California under a mandate to buy electric in a certain percentage of their fleet, right? So they're looking for solutions, they're looking for a partner to help them meet those regulations. And the Lightning extended range in particular is one that helps them meet Advanced Clean Fleet, which is the customer-facing mandate.
That's really cool. So it's like, they're, we don't want to say they're being forced to, but they're, that's what they have to do.
They do,
But if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to take a wild guess. It actually is, in the long run, it's saving them so much money because of the maintenance and the fuel.
100%,
And then they get the credits as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we're there to help these customers figure out their charging plan, especially on for the smaller businesses who might not have big depot, depot setups like a large fleet account would. Like an Eco Lab, for instance. They're one of our larger fleets who's buying. They do kind of like sanitation, hygiene services, right? So they're one of our larger fleet accounts. And they're trying to actually figure out, it's really interesting, a lot of their drivers take vehicles home.
Oh, yeah.
So all of our home charging solutions, depot and public charging now. Right, with our Tesla adapter. That's,
right.
We're offering complimentary to all of our existing EV commercial customers.
That's been
too.
very huge because you know a lot of our viewers have a Mach-E or have a Lightning, and they've been able to get their adapter. And one of the questions people kept asking is like, what about e-Transit?
Yes.
But it's like e-Transit, Lightning Pro, fleet Mach-Es.
So we've been on a slightly different timeline just in terms of how we're rolling it out. But if you are an existing Ford Pro or any kind of commercial customer with an EV, you are eligible for a complimentary adapter.
One per VIN.
One per VIN.
Yes. That's what we've been telling everybody.
Exactly.
That's very cool. And I'm like, I know Jim Farley talked about it. It's like, this is about customer relationship. You don't want to be like, sorry, you got to spend $200.
Exactly.
So I think that's really cool.
It's the right thing to do.
It is.
We want to see this really take off, and we think we have the right products. And there's a lot more to come, right? So for 24 model year, one of the things we're highlighting here is we added a standard heat pump.
Right.
So that's across the board. Maybe you covered that on
I've heard about it, but
right?
we just drove a 2023 that did not have the heat pump, but it was warm, so it didn't matter.
Yes.
But I noticed the barcode back there helps improve cold weather efficiency.
Yeah, so in Ford's patented technology is a vapor injection heat pump.
Vapor injection.
So I am not the technical expert here.
I'm not either.
I just know that our customers are, wanting more range. And I was saying this to someone earlier, we used to think, commercial customers are the most rational of anybody, but even for them, it all comes down to dollars and cents. Even for them, coming back to a charger with 5 miles does not feel good, right?
No.
So we got to find a way to get them more range, especially in cold weather, and the heat pump will help with that.
So, I sort of alluded to the fact that, I know Lightning Pro has been used by a lot of businesses, cities, or whatever, but there's some cool uses that are out there that people are discovering with the Lightning for business owners. Like one I think somebody mentioned was people that have bouncy castle businesses. That they're it's like you just put
utilize the Pro Power on board, right? So again, I mentioned small businesses. Again, government, state and local government is still our biggest early adopter, but all of these cool little stories of interesting use cases are popping up every day.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's an e-Transit over there. Let's pause while we move over to the e-Transit and talk about that.
Sounds great. Thanks.
So now we're in front of an e-Transit. I know that now, like when I'm driving on the road and I see a Transit in my rearview mirror, I'm always looking for these blue lines. But we're going to move toward the back just because it's easier to talk back there. But it's also the 10th anniversary of the Transit.
It is, yes. It's a vehicle that's very near and dear to my heart because I was my second job at Ford was as the brand manager for the Transit. So
that's very cool.
Yes, marks 10 years of building these in the United States at Kansas City Assembly Plant. And we're celebrating essentially by announcing our enhanced range e-Transit.
Right.
So obviously we've been out in the market for a couple years now with our base range, but now we have order banks open for our enhanced range, which is up to a 32% improvement versus the existing model.
And I believe I heard them mention that the onboard charger is faster this year as well.
Yes, so we added a dual onboard charger. So essentially charge all the way to full, within 6 hours.
Nice.
So just for those businesses who don't have a lot of time to
they need that quick turnaround.
or short nights or whatever. And the cool thing about this product is it's essentially the same cube as our ICE Transit. So for upfits or just, what our customers are used to.
So somebody could replace their, year one Transit and they just pull everything out, all their shelves, and then put it in the brand new e-Transit.
Yeah.
Great sales pitch.
And upfits are the name of the game on this product, right? It can be customized to whatever the need.
And I think that's, and I was sort of talking about looking at the front, I can see the blue lines. I'm like, oh, there's an e-Transit. But otherwise, this is just a Transit.
Yes, yes. With the Pro Power on board.
With Pro
I just
Power
wanted
on
to
board.
point that out, right? So up to 2.4 kilowatts.
And we've seen a lot of these at the auto shows, and it's basically like this configuration. But when you say transit, it's actually very flexible. So
Yeah.
you can go, like
Low
short,
there's
medium,
3 roof
high.
heights. Yep, exactly. Multiple lengths. So it just depends on what you're using it for. And a lot, actually, if we talk about use cases on e-transit, again,
Yeah.
small business municipalities, but what a lot of these use cases are for, universities are a lot of our early
really?
adopters as well. They're using them as passenger vans. So,
Oh, okay.
or, wheelchair lifts, that kind of thing. So we're seeing a lot of our upfitters get into this space and really kind of own it, get excited.
So now wheelchairs,
Yes.
and we're going to mention this because sometimes Liv is actually in a wheelchair. So this is something that is always of interest to
Yeah.
us. So this is adaptable, so you can put a wheelchair lift on this. That's awesome.
That's the great thing about kind of being the leader in the space too. We have so many great partners who are used to working with us, and so many of them do that kind of work on these e-transits now too.
That's very cool because one of the things on the consumer side with consumer vans getting outfitted for wheelchair lifts, we're finding there's a lot of barriers to doing that. So it's really cool that the e-transit can support that.
Yes, we want to support all of our customers, no matter what they're using.
That's
the
super
vehicle
cool. And I know the range is longer on the 2024, but I know that when it first came out, one of the things that Ford is able to do, basically knowing the customers, they know what their route's going to be.
Yes.
So I imagine that there's a lot of data showing exactly, now with the history of the e-transit being a couple years of how they're being utilized, and how's the range working for everybody that has their e-transit?
Yeah, I mean, when this all first started, right, all of the modem data that we have on ICE vehicles shows that the average commercial customer drives 74 miles a day.
Right.
So, I mean, if I'm being fully honest with you, we know that this first product was not meant to be a mass market product, right?
Right.
There's a lot of people who need more range than 126 miles. So that's where we're really excited to already be out there with our next
product
level that opens it up to more use cases, right? A lot of customers don't have time to charge over lunch or whatever. But again, running around town, consistently, good weather, or knowing that you need to precondition in cold weather. There's ways to get around that, as you know.
And then I think the thing is because some people want Ford to just sell only e-transits and no gas models, and I understand that reasoning, but it's also it sort of gives Ford a lot of flexibility to say well, here's this, it has 159 miles of range, and oh, you need 200 miles of range, well, here's a transit. But your short range and your long range can have the exact same gear inside. So
exactly.
Flexibility.
Exactly. And this is just the start.
It is a transition. It isn't just a switch.
100%.
So
yeah.
that's
And
really
again,
cool.
back to our conversation, that's why we've got the whole ecosystem to support
exactly.
you guys, and our customers, because we know it's not just to flip the switch.
Yeah, I mean, as a consumer, it's I have, one car. I made the switch.
Right.
Now we're done. But it's with the fleet, it's they
and
have to.
We see a lot of. When we first started this, we thought there were going to be the large accounts who have all these really strong sustainability goals would buy them all up right away. And the reality is it takes time. You got to pilot, you got to trial.
ACT Expo attendees.
And that is some of our largest customers are still in that mode. We're working with them, training drivers, getting them excited about driving EVs too.
Very cool.
So
now, I went to a fleet event very early on before Actually, I did have my Mach-E at that time, but I think one of the cool things that I saw when I was riding in an e-transit was it could track the driving habits.
Yes.
So if that person that runs a bakery, they can sort of go hey, could you stop doing hard brakes?
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. Can you explain how that works?
Ford Pro Intelligence is our kind of software support services, and so in-cab coaching or driver coaching is part of that suite of services to give the fleet manager, because usually the person making the purchase decision, unless you're an owner operator, isn't necessarily the one driving the vehicles every day. So they want to know how it's going, harsh braking, anything that's going to help them avoid downtime, accident prevention, keeping their drivers safe.
And they don't get the reputation of, somebody driving my van is out there cutting people off.
And for most of these businesses, this vehicle is a mobile billboard, right?
Right.
So like it's representative of their brand, of their business, and so.
But I think it's just really cool because it all ties in. So you can track that your vehicle isn't being abused.
Yep.
You can track your charging. You can track
Exactly.
how long it's being used. And then I guess the final like huge piece is like maintenance, like keeping track of like when does it need tire changes and rotations, and of course. E-Transit needs less maintenance. Lightning needs less maintenance.
40% fewer maintenance.
But that's still all in the Ford Pro wheelhouse.
It is. The other one I would add is mobile service, right? For a lot of these businesses where they don't have a bakery, they don't have time to like not go deliver because they need an oil change or whatever. So our mobile service network of I think it's 3,000 plus vehicles will come to them. Handle it.
That's
just
awesome.
One less thing for a small business owner or a large fleet owner to worry about.
And I know Ford Blue and Model E, they're doing some home visits as well.
Yeah,
so
similar
I know for me personally, that's a benefit. I can imagine as a business owner, it's even more valuable.
100%. Anytime they're not working, they're not making money, right? In a lot of these cases. So.
Well, and I talked to a couple of fleet people, and they were saying not only am I not making money, but oftentimes my baker or delivery person or whatever, like I'm paying them to go get the maintenance or to go get the fuel.
Exactly.
So it's like I'm not making money and I'm actually still spending money.
Exactly.
So
that's what we're trying to help them avoid.
That's really cool. And I think that's one of the reasons why businesses and cities, they can see the value of EVs sometimes before consumers. Because like for me, it's like, I don't like doing oil changes, but I just go over on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking I'm going to lose $150 of billable hours to do that.
Exactly.
Well, this is really cool. Like I said, we always sort of check these out at the auto show, but the shiny Mustang is next to it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to give the e-Transit and the Lightning the full attention.
Yeah,
so
thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Very
much appreciate it. Okay, we have bonus coverage because, of course, Ford Pro works with partners, and Lift Up is a partner. Lift Up is also working with Rush Truck Centers. This is Tom Pennington from Rush Truck Centers, and this is super cool. So this is just a regular e-Transit with something a little extra on top. You want to tell us? I mean, we all know it's we call it like a bucket truck, but
correct. So this is an insulated aerial lift. It's called the RH38 DGA. And this product works with an electric vehicle on the e-Transit platform. It is full electric. It requires no PTO. So full electric transit, and it's a full electric aerial. 0 emissions. And this product is really going to help reduce the carbon footprint. Most aerial trucks require to be running at a higher RPM to push the hydraulic fluid through.
Right.
So most guys will sit there and idle their truck or run it at an elevated RPM. So it's producing like 22 or about 22 pounds of CO2 per hour while it's running. This does 0. And the cool thing about it is that the fact that it's electric, even when it's going to the job site, it's still not producing any CO2.
Still double. Can we open up just to show? Like, I think the coolest thing for our viewers, this is straight up just the e-Transit.
Correct.
With extra bracing and stuff. And
well, the bridge mount is to hold the aerial. It weighs 950 pounds, and all that weight above the van goes to this, what we call a bridge mount. The bridge mount goes to the floor, and we actually drop the 68 kilowatt lithium battery. That's an OEM battery from Ford. We do our drill mounts, fasten it, and then we take the battery back up. And that's the only drilling that we do into the floor. Other than that, everything's mounted to our subfloor. So this whole bin package goes onto the subfloor, so there's no penetrations all over the floor of the cargo van.
But pretty much just basically straightforward e-Transit, these modifications, very easy for people to do, and it's available now. This isn't like a lot of things that we'll see out here on the floor that are coming in a year or two. This is like available now.
We're delivering them daily.
That's so cool.
And it qualifies for the grants and incentives that the federal programs, the states, and what Ford has put out for incentives to help ease the burden of switching over your fleet to electric.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. If you're going to go electric, you want the vehicle to be electric and the lift to be electric. So it's like a double.
There's a 2400 watt inverter, so you don't need a small pony motor. You can just charge all your your handheld batteries, your tools.
Right.
So the days of using gas and whatnot they're numbered. Like we're not going to see air compressors running off of gasoline.
Yeah.
It's going to be charging batteries, just batteries, and hopefully renewables charging the batteries that are that we're using.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you for this very quick extra bonus.
No problem. I do want to show you guys something, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you shut that, just how quiet it is, which is not common.
Yeah. Once it's the door's closed, you can't hear anything. That's like silent.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And you can ground access.
So you
can walk right in there. Get in the bucket. Elevate up. It self-levels.
And because of the lightweight, you don't have to have
You don't have to have outriggers or stabilizers. They don't need a CDL. You don't need a medical card. You don't even have to DOT it.
That is awesome.
There's 75. So the maintenance on this will be scheduled maintenance will be. Ford says 45%, but we have a fleet that ran 1,000 of these last year, and they saved 75% over the scheduled maintenance cost of ICE, what they call for an internal combustion engine. Fleets will. Efficiency is what makes money.
Right.
And this forces efficiencies. It does. Electric vehicles, that's what people don't like about it, is you have to be more efficient. If you're going to go out, you're going to plan your day, so that you can come back and charge, preferably level 2 at home. Well, same thing with fleets. They'll rely more on telematics.
Right.
And they will be more efficient. And actually services will get better because they'll have to, because of the telematics. They'll be so reliant on keeping to the schedule. Public charging where they have to, level 3 charging, starting out with a full charge from level 2. But just to give you an example, in California, like the average price of a gallon of gasoline is probably $5, right?
Yep.
So the range of this is in equivalency in gasoline is about 10 gallons. So it would cost you $50 to go 130 miles in this vehicle. In electrical charging, at 24 cents a kilowatt, you're going to be more around like $14 for the same equivalency and range. You just start adding these things up, 75% savings over scheduled maintenance. Every day you're saving $35,
Yeah.
It's just, like let's say I had a fleet of 1,000 vehicles, and some of these fleets are bigger than that. And every tank had $100 in it.
Yeah.
You pay for that up front. It's sitting stored in that tank waiting for you to use it. With electricity, you pull it now, but you're going to pay later. You use it now, but you pay it at the end of the month through your utilities.
Right.
The way that it's going to change payables and receivables, the way it's going to change the cost and cost of goods, electric vehicles have 50% of the parts that a ICE component vehicle has.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the stuff to break down. When batteries get cheaper, these vehicles will either sustain their pricing or they'll actually start coming down. And we're seeing it in the Tesla model.
Yep.
And we've never seen that in an ICE. It's always more. So
a little bit more every year.
Yeah, we're pretty excited.
Me too. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.